The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with $1 million plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us on today's episode of the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Profits Podcast. I'm really excited to be interviewing Christian from Devlin Plumbing today, and he's had a lot of growth and success in his plumbing and HVAC business, and I'm just really excited that he's willing to come on the show and share. Of course, we're doing something a little bit different for those of you that are with us live today. We're live on Facebook, and if you're listening to it after the fact, just know that this was a new experience. So, Christian, thanks so much for joining us and taking the time to get together today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit, just to get started, just kind of give us the background of Devlin Plumbing, kind of the 10,000-foot overview, how many guys, how many trucks, kind of the background story.
Yeah, so the background story is, I was running a new construction plumbing business in 2004, and I offered him a partnership because I felt like I could do what he was doing and really grow the business, and he laughed at me. So I think I was, got to do the math, that was what, 12 years ago. So I was 28, and I thought I could do what he was doing. So I went out and I pursued all the work that I told him that I was going to go after for him, started my own business. So we got to about 10 trucks, and then the economy crashed and I was hurt pretty badly, just like everybody else was. And I wasn't prepared for that. And we had done about $11 million in business between 2005 and 2009, and I didn't make any money. So let that be a lesson learned for anybody that thinks just because you have dollars going into your bank account that you're making money. So but with doing $11 million in business, there should have been a lot more cushion for me to be able to withstand that fall and the economy crashing. So I had to start back over again in 2010 by myself. I have a family to feed. I have talents and I have skills and I have a strong back, strong hands. So I took any business that would come my way, worked for myself for about 3 years and I hired my first employee again in 2013 when I started marketing and the business became more than I could stand. Awesome.
And so the lesson there was commercial business, while the numbers can be big, it's not necessarily as lucrative as you might think.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. And so it sounds like 2010 you restarted, kind of started to accelerate the growth in 2013. Where's the company today? Kind of where do you guys sit in terms of trucks and revenues and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, so we're I would say that we're 6.1 trucks, and the reason I say that is we have five plumbers, plumbing technicians. We have one parts runner. I added a parts runner this year, and I found that to be, I'm all about efficiency and momentum, and that was something that I found myself doing a lot, was running parts to guys to keep the job going. Time kills all deals, so when you've sold a water heater, it's a good idea to get that water heater on site right away before the people, have time to shop around, basically. And then, So I say the 0.1 trucks is because I'll still go out and do a call when we have too much work. So I know what I'm doing. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but, I make marketing promises and about being on time and about getting the job done and same day service and different things. So if it means me going out and strapping my tool belt on, I'll go do it. And I'm hoping to quit that soon. I don't like doing that.
You like working on the business and not in the business.
Yeah, I don't get to prepare for the next day when things like that happen, and that drives me insane. But at the same time, like I said, I make marketing promises, and I try to be a person that keeps my promises.
Nice. So you're the 0.1 truck for the extra stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, but I'll do it if I need to.
Which is not bad. At least it's not like the 0.75 truck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Too often. So I'm really excited because this is the great story of, you went from 2010, really kind of the solo entrepreneur, the guy in the truck doing the work, to today you've got a real business running with guys doing the work and you working on the business. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So whenever I go into this podcast, I usually try and frame it in terms of market, message, media, right? If you're going to market your plumbing or HVAC business to generate inbound leads and to generate sales, you have to have that triangle figured out, right? Market is who's your customer, message is how do you communicate what you do so that they want to choose you versus the competition. And then, of course, media is how do you get that message out in front of those ideal customers so that you can get the phone ringing and calls coming in. So I always like to start with the first pillar, which is market. And so how would you define your market and the types of people that you serve?
Our market right now, we're in a tourism-based market. I'm in the Myrtle Beach area, and the whole county has a population of about 500,000. Mm-hmm. And, homeowners, I think, I'm not a numbers guy. You guys will have to forgive me. I'm more of a creative, but I think homeowners, there's maybe 280,000, 300,000, but we are, I think, the second fastest growing area in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's, we have a ton of seniors from up north flooding in. This is a good place because it's halfway between Florida and New York. So when people consider where they're going to move and where they're going to retire to, this is a great place to retire to because the taxes are low, the weather's decent for most of the year, there's tons to do, and it's not as far away from New York, New Jersey, Maryland as Florida would be. So a lot of people are choosing South Carolina. It's a great place to live. And so that's our market. Now, when I market to people, I try to market to those seniors. People are typically 40 years and older that own their home. And, we have a lot of high-end homes here, $1 million plus homes. We don't find those to be our ideal customers. Our ideal customers are typically the people in a $200,000 to $300,000 home. Somebody that's retired, that's not house poor, and has some disposable income that they choose us. We're not the cheapest in our market, but we're not the most expensive, and we have a lot of success with those people.
Awesome. So really clear on who that customer is, and interesting you say, you're not the cheap guy. You kind of position yourself as the quality provider, but you're also not going after the mega millionaire homes. What was it about that demographic that didn't fit for you? Just out of curiosity.
It's strange. Maybe people listening will agree with me. That it seems to me that the people are never home. The nanny's there, the housekeeper's there. There's nobody there that can make a decision. There's nobody there that you can show all the problems to. A lot of times those folks have a guy that handles everything for them. So they have a handyman, and then everything that you do has to filter through the handyman. And it's just, for us, it's not ideal. I'm not saying we have a lot of customers that live in those $1 million plus homes, and they're great. But in terms of me being excited when somebody calls from the $1 million neighborhood, I don't look. Some people would think that that's just this great place to make a bunch of money, and I just haven't found that that's the case. Those folks, for whatever reason, it just doesn't jive with us, and it's kind of counterintuitive. You would think that those would be the people that you would be able to profit the most from, but we profit the most from people in the $200,000 to $300,000 range.
Very, very interesting. So clear on the kind of the age group, clear on the kind of the value of the home, and clear that it's residential for you and not mostly commercial projects.
Yeah. Now we do commercial. We'll do some commercial work. It again is not ideal. My goal in this business is to completely be 100% working for the end user of our plumber, or of our plumbing, not a middleman. We would like to be 100% COD in a couple of years. Right now, we're, a lot of the stuff we do, we wait on the money, but not the majority. So cash flow is important to us. It's important to a business, and get paid today is very important. So we'll do a restaurant, we'll work for a hotel, we'll work for property management, but we're not marketing to them. And our priority is taking care of the folks that are going to use our plumbing and are going to pay us that day.
Awesome. Good. So clear on the market. So once we're clear on the market, the next thing is, what's the message, right? So how do we go to that $200,000 to $250,000 homeowner in their 40s to 80s and say something that makes them want to choose us versus the competition. So how do you position yourself, and what's one of your unique selling proposition in your business?
Well, our unique selling proposition is I focus mostly on risk reversal.
Okay.
It's something I've learned in my marketing research about guaranteeing somebody that they're going to be satisfied, guaranteeing money back. And what I want to make clear to people is that it's safe to do business with us, that you cannot lose. You're either going to get a great product or you're going to get your money back. You know, we emphasize the fact that our men are drug free, that they're background checked, and that they're trained. We emphasize the fact that they're going to be uniform, that they have ID. We call ahead when we're coming in, and you know, basically, like I said, I try to keep my marketing promises. I don't want there to be a surprise. My men, for the most part, are clean cut, and they're good communicators. They're not scary when they come to the door, and you know, we try to think. You know, one thing that I learned, and I think I learned it from listening to your podcast, was that it doesn't matter what I think. You know, it matters what Miss Jones thinks, and you know, I lean on my wife a lot when it comes to learning what makes her feel uncomfortable with workers in the house, with workers outside the house, and I do everything I can to communicate that to my men, that you know, certain things make people feel uncomfortable. And
yeah,
our marketing message is focused around safety, and that it's a win-win situation for the customer, and that they can't lose doing business with Devlin Plumbing.
Awesome. Yeah, and then that point, you know, you can sell Joe Jones what Joe Jones buys when you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes. In your case, that's the female homeowner that's making the decision in a lot of cases, is what you're experiencing.
Yeah. And, you know, she's the one that's home, and she's making those decisions. And, you know, when you're hiring a guy, I don't have it yet, but I know as we grow and we get bigger, I'm going to make sure that a woman does the hiring. And I've heard it said best that there's a certain amount of ick factor that goes into it when a man is in front of a woman, and there's things that she can sense about him that I don't. You know, I trust everybody, and you know, my wife will say, you know, I get a bad feeling about that guy, and you know, you need to listen to those things, because there's certain signals that people give off of creepiness that you need to be well aware of before you send them into your home, into a person's home.
I like that a lot. You know, at least make sure there's a woman involved in your hiring decisions, right? So you make sure that kind of passes the stink test on the front end.
Yeah, and it's important, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I know the larger companies do that. It's really important.
Good stuff. So now we're clear on the market, we're clear on the message, and we can start to talk about the stuff that everyone likes to talk about, which is the media and the ways that you get that message in front of your ideal customer. So let's just talk about your marketing mix. You've had great growth from a couple 100,000 to almost 1.5, going from just yourself to 6 trucks. So talk to us about how you generate the leads to keep those trucks running.
Yeah, you know, it's been best said that marketing is everything and everything is marketing. And, you know, I'm a big fan of the show The Office. And what you can learn from The Office is there's this man on there named Bob Vance. And Bob Vance introduces himself as Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. It doesn't matter who he's talking to. He shakes the person's hands. He's telling them about the business. And I'm a lot like that. And, you know, there's no magic bullet that's going to bring you all your leads. You know, you need to come out of obscurity, and you need to be everywhere, and you just don't know where that next phone call is coming from. So that's why it's important. And, you know, the way that I started, you know, when I started by myself in 2010, I took the crappiest work available, which was warranty work. So I was doing 200 to 300 calls a year by myself doing warranty work. So how do I make the best of that situation? So what I would do is I was a madman with the stickers. Everything got a sticker. The inside of the cabinet door, the garbage disposal, the water heater got a sticker. We started writing thank you notes to people that we were working for. We would give out cards to the neighbors. I would, you know, just make sure that anybody and everybody knew that I did plumbing. Anywhere that I would leave business cards at restaurants. I would leave flyers at, restaurants, anybody that would let me put my marketing materials out there for free, they would get it. So we,
I think if I can pause you there for a sec, you said something really interesting, which is, if you're kind of buying the business at the beginning to do warranty work or whatever lower end lead generation that you get, make sure that you're taking that first buyer and turning them into a repeat buyer. That's what he's talking about, right? It's a very low profit call that he went on for all of those years, but he left stickers, he sent thank you notes, he planted seeds so that the next time that warranty buyer needed a plumbing repair or whatever they needed plumbing centric, they knew and liked and trusted him, and they would call him again in the future, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. You think you're God's gift to the plumbing world, and then somebody will call you a year later and say, man, I'm so glad I found your car, because me and my wife, we just couldn't remember who you were and who it was. So while you think you're the light of their life, you're not. And it's really important to leave little reminders of who that was. And, previously my business cards and my stickers had my face on it. I have tried to get away from being a business built around my personality much. And there was reasons for that. And it has to do with maybe sellability later on down the line. But we switched to a logo. But yeah, like I said, you got to leave things behind. So that's our first leg of the marketing, and that was my guerrilla approach to getting my name out there with no capital. Because that's the one thing is the only money that I had to build this business was what I was making through working those warranty calls and whatever else would come in. So whenever I'd make a little bit of extra money, I'd go to Vistaprint and print something up and have it sent out and make that investment.
Nice.
And then I really started marketing when you start hiring your first employee, you get a little nervous about the workflow. So in 2013, I listened to the Kelly Russingham interview that you did, Josh, with on your podcast. I'm a podcast junkie. So I listened to it, and he gave some advice to give him a call if you needed any help. He'd be glad to answer any questions. So I took him up on that offer. I called him, and he basically told me, he looked at some of the pictures on my website, and he told me I look like a slob. And no, I'm not really. But, I decided I needed to get better uniforms. And so I did that. And I bought some shirts off Amazon, got them embroidered, bought some blue pants. So we started working towards our professional image. So I think the professional image is extremely important with your marketing. When your guys are in and out of the Home Depot and Lowe's and stores and wherever, and people see that logo on there, they see a clean cut guy with his shirt tucked in and wearing a belt and brown shoes, it goes far. And then when people ask for recommendation, they don't hesitate to recommend the company that looks professional, because there's an assumption that because they look professional, they'll do a professional job. So we I guess for marketing also, we leave magnets behind with useful information. So we try to make the magnet something that the people aren't likely to throw away. We have one with emergency phone numbers, local emergency phone numbers, suicide hotline, different things like that. The gas company. We have another one with the conversion chart of converting quarts to pints and teaspoons to tablespoons. So we try to make it where if they're going to have something on their refrigerator, that they're going to not want to throw it away. We've had another one I made recently with, believe it or not, I put Psalm 23 on there. The Lord is my shepherd. And it's been a big hit.
Nice.
My guys are a little nervous about handing that out, but if you're going to have something on your refrigerator with our brand or our logo down in the corner, a lot of people, that's a comforting verse for a lot of people. So when we give them a choice as to which one they want, the guys are always surprised that a lot of times people are choosing the one with the Psalm 23 on it. So I'm not afraid to try new things, and I figure what would be somebody not likely to throw away, and that's a good one right there. And
that's smart. That's smart. Giving them options and not making it just about you, but making it something that they would actually want up on the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I really like is a lot of what you've talked about so far. I know you do a lot of other things, but a lot of what he's talked about so far, and what I want you guys, the listeners, to take away, at least from this portion, is he spent a lot of time thinking about how can he put his arms around the customer and make sure that it's not a single transaction. It's a transaction that plants a seed that drives repeat referral business into the future. I think that's one of the key secrets to his growth and success. And so the key takeaway, though, from that conversation with Kelly Russell was the image, right? Clean up the image, make sure that you're a referable plumbing and HVAC company and the kind of company that people choose, right?
Correct. Yeah, and that's not all I took away from our conversation, but since we're on the subject of marketing, that in terms of marketing, that's what, I changed. Your uniform is marketing.
Yep.
It absolutely is. And, I remember when my father was in the hospital a couple of years, he passed away, but I remember a doctor being in there and he had jeans and dirty tennis shoes on and, he had the lab coat on, but I judged him. I didn't view him as somebody competent to take care of my dad, and it had everything to do with what he was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's reality. Perception is reality, and people need to get a grasp on that doesn't matter what you think. It matters what your customer thinks.
Absolutely. So true. So tell us what other types of marketing you do in order to generate phone calls.
Yeah, so like I said, you have to come out of obscurity. So we have big obnoxious vans riding around town with our branded logo on it, and
Nice.
They are loud and proud, and they're in your face, and they're unmistakable. And I did that on purpose. And
Absolutely.
I'm friends with a lot of plumbers, and they ask a bunch of plumbers as to what it is that they'll have a new logo, and there'll be a skull and crossbones or something with their name beside it, and they'll do a focus group with a bunch of the other plumbers on the forum. And I always say, ask the people around town what they think of your logo. And so we did that with our logo on the vans, and I asked my Facebook friends, got feedback from the women and different things as to what they liked about the different logo options that I had chosen. And they liked this little guy that I have behind me because he's innocuous. He's not offensive. He's friendly looking. He looks like he's harmless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that we let them know that we're in that, with what's on our vans, that we're, kind of get the attitude of our company across with an icon, without having to necessarily say a slogan, because we feel like the little man is memorable. We always hear about the little man.
The little cartoon figure, right?
Yep. So we do the vans. We have these signs. We every light post, we're in the unincorporated areas of town that we can get a sign on. We stick a yard sign up. We get them printed, and then when my parts runner's not doing anything, he's got to nail a sign up. So
okay.
We get a lot of feedback as to we see your signs everywhere. And I don't think people call you from the signs, but when they go to the internet or they go to the yellow pages, they make an association between that sign that they've been seeing all over town or that van they've seen all over town. And when they go to choose you, there's some familiarity there. They don't feel like they're taking a stab in the dark at hiring a provider. The more you market too, you're sending a message to people that tells them that you want their business. There's something subconscious there. Is that, you got the guy that brags about not marketing or not, he's just word of mouth. I mean, it's really hard to tell as to whether or not he really wants your business. But the guy that's in your face all over town is sending you a message, call me. I want you to call me. It's not, you're not wasting my time. A lot of people call me that know me personally and say, I know you're busy, but can you do, it's like, no, that's what we're in business for. We want to serve you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we've got billboards on wheels. We made a conscious decision to invest in good wrapped trucks so that as you guys are going about town, you kind of planting that seed in all your customers' minds. And then literally posting yard signs just about this big,
No, they're only about 12. They're only about a little bit bigger than, I'd say twice the size of a piece of loose leaf, and we put them right on the light posts.
Okay.
They're small. Anything bigger would get broken by the wind.
Got it.
Just the logo and the name, and there is a track and phone number on there that I can track if somebody were to call from there. Nobody calls from there, but they call. Yeah, but they call later from another number and they tell us that they see our signs all over town. Some other ninja moves that we do for marketing too is the granite companies in our area. We give them a brochure with a price list on what it would cost to hook their plumbing up after they've had granite installed.
Yeah.
And we offer a same-day guarantee on that. That if you get your granite done in the morning, we're not going home until you have water in your kitchen.
Nice.
And we give them the prices, and that's a big no-no for a lot of people. You don't give people prices. You don't give people prices. But we win the customer, and they know what it's going to cost, and they see the brochure about our company, and they call us. So I don't know how many people are turned away by our prices, but I know how many people actually call us. So what's important to me is the amount of people that call us.
And you get a decent number of calls from that activity?
I'd say one a week.
Oh, wow.
And typically what's good about that person is when somebody's getting granite, a lot of times somebody just moved to town.
Mm-hmm.
So, they just bought a house and they didn't like the countertops and they're getting it put in. So we get a customer that gets to try us first. And typically somebody that's tried us first, they're not going to try somebody else.
Yeah.
Again, people don't want to risk something, so they're going to stick with what they know. And, I'd say 99% of the time we do a good job.
That's really cool. That's one of I think that's the first time I've heard that strategy, but I like it. It makes tons of sense, right? Reach out to the guys that do granite fabrication that they're going to be putting that in their home. They're not going to install the plumbing. So get relationships going with those guys and get that business. And of course, first of all, they're putting in granite, so that's kind of a higher end buyer usually. And like you said, if they're remodeling the kitchen or moving in new, you're planting that seed and buying that customer. I love it.
Yeah. So we've done that. We also work with air conditioning. We're not an HVAC company. I plan on adding it one day when I find the right person to run it. But we work with the heat and air companies in the area, and we always refer them. They refer us, and they're a lot of times people change their water heater out while they're changing the heating and air. Sometimes they're in the same closet in these condos, so we get a lot from that. We get a lot from working with handymen. Handymen are, plumbers despise handyman because they take a lot of work from them, but at the same time, a handyman's good because when he gets to something that blows his mind, like a slab leak or something that he can't figure out, the homeowner respects him. But when he says, there's no way I could figure this out, ma'am, I'm going to need you to call these guys. We come in already positioned as the expert and with some trust behind us. So we don't despise handymen. I think it's just something you got to get used to. They're out there. They're going to be there. They're not going anywhere. So learn to work with them if you can.
So one question on those lines, especially pretty much any plumbing company can do what you're talking about, aligning themselves with the HVAC companies. How do you make that connection? Is there some type of, reciprocity, or is it more to say, look, we're a quality plumbing company. If any of your clients need us, we're here for you type of thing? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I usually make a phone call to the guys and ask them about a certain marketing piece that they may be doing. So, the one in my area right now that I work the most with, I called him about an ad that he was running in the Catholic Church bulletin. So I decided to call him and ask him how it was working out for him. And that's good advice for anybody. If they call you and say that they have a marketing piece that's good for you, call the people that are still marketing in it and see if it's working before you actually decide to buy into it. So I called him and we formed a relationship. And, sometimes these guys get in a bind or they break something or they, go out there and do it for free for them. And, you'll stick in their mind after that. And, we'll come out and unclog a drain that their guys couldn't get, or they might have broke a pipe because they dropped the air conditioner on it. Take care of those guys. Don't scalp them, realize that they're a valuable relationship.
Nice. So everything there is really almost like an affiliate play, right? Connect with the HVAC company, connect with the handyman, connect with the granite company, because they're talking to your same customer and they can refer you if they know, like, and trust you.
Exactly. Yeah. And we do the same thing for realtors. We try to take care of it. We just did a water softener for a realtor that refers us all the time. And we did it for cost.
Okay.
And, I don't do that up front. I do that for the realtors that actually refer us all the time. So you'll get a call. It's a running joke among plumbers that the realtor call up and say, if you take care of me on this one, you'll get all my work. And it's like, right. Okay. We hear that every day, and that nobody ever, I learned a couple of years ago that promise never goes through. But there are people that actually truly give you all their work and give you all their referrals, and you need to take care of those people. And they're not looking elsewhere to send their customers to. And like I said, realtors are good too. One of our best clients are the people that just moved to town, because once we have them, and they're not looking for somebody else. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we do that. We have air conditioning companies, electricians, handymen. One of the plays that I made recently, I think is, well, not recently, but a couple years ago, I made an investment in Review Buzz.
Okay.
And that was probably one of the best investments that we made for marketing, because we probably have 500 5-star reviews across the web right now, and it's a really robust. We're not in just one place. We have 79 Google reviews right now. We have a lot of Angie's List reviews. We have Yelp reviews, Super Pages reviews, Better Business reviews. They're just everywhere. We have a lot of the Review Buzz reviews, and we're down the road from an 85 truck company. And if you look on the web and you don't know any better, we look like a bigger company than the 85 truck company because we have more reviews than they do.
Wow.
So that's been a really good play. And I think that with, we have a Yellow Page ad too. And I've told you before, Josh, that, people look in the Yellow Pages and then they'll actually look you up online.
Mm-hmm.
So we're marketing is changing. It used to be that you could brag about yourself and people would kind of just, go with it or believe it. And now you can brag about yourself all you want. They're going to check up on that social proof and to see whether or not those promises that you're making in your marketing are true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. I love Review Buzz. A lot of our clients use Review Buzz. A lot of the other people that have been on this podcast, and obviously those reviews help with your rankings. They help with your conversion rate. They help all of the marketing you're doing to convert into customers. But I also deal with a lot of companies that use Review Buzz that haven't gotten 500 reviews. So there are some things you must be doing specifically to get that kind of momentum. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. Being that we're a smaller company compared to most of the people that may be listening or that you actually work for, I'm involved in every single transaction that goes down, and I am hell bent on getting that 5-star review. Because right now with my business, I'm in growth mode. I'm in customer acquisition mode. I just want that 5-star review. I'll do whatever it takes. I always do what is right, even if it hurts. And so like I said, we make the marketing promises, and we're still small enough a company that I can make sure that those marketing promises are actually come through. So we just try hard, and we also, I think it comes down to company culture. It's so important, and that's something that I work really hard at. So we meet at the shop every morning. All the guys are gathered in a room. They're filling out their paperwork, and we're talking about what went down the day before. We're giving accolades where they need to go. We're talking about problem customers and different things like that, and we're talking about things that went wrong. And I always try to make sure that my attitude towards the customer trickles down to the guys, because what I've learned, in being in business since 2005, that if I have a customer that I'm not completely fond of or that aggravates me, my guys will let that show. So what I've learned is that me as the leader, whatever attitude I take is going to be reflected by the guys. So I completely changed that I let my guys know that our customers are not an interruption of our work, that they're why we're in business, that we need them, that we value them, and that, I've made that 5-star review even above how much the ticket might be, and that could be detrimental to our profits. So a lot of companies are all about how big's the ticket, and how big the ticket is very important to me. But I would rather win the customer than necessarily win the sale, and that could prove to be a wise move on my part, or it could prove to be something that I shouldn't have done, and maybe I should have been money hungry. But right now we're trying to build something, and that 5-star review is what I'm focusing on, and I'm hoping it works out for me.
Well, that's fantastic. It's working out so far, right?
It is. Like I said, we have no shortage of work. The phone rings a lot, and The majority of our feedback is, we saw your reviews, we saw your reviews, we saw your reviews.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and I'll tell you too, you asked about how we get those. We took Review Buzz's advice, and we have on the back of a personalized business card asking for the review. And one thing that they taught me when we signed up was the customer doesn't want to review your company. They want to review your guy. You know, they might view the company as some big corporation, and it's soulless. It doesn't have a heart. But the guy that was just in your house, that just got married or just had a baby, he's a real live human being. And that guy, when he asks for that and says, can you give me a 5-star review? Can you give me some feedback? They're willing to do that for him.
Yeah.
They might be willing to do that for the company. So the majority of our reviews, you're going to see mention the guy by name.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think using the tool, the culture that you've set up, where the guys are getting recognized for the positive reviews, planting the seed at the home and really letting them know, look, I'm going to need you to share some feedback with me, and you as the owner being personally engaged in every transaction. That's just phenomenal for a company of your size to have 500 plus online reviews, and it bodes for where you're headed as a company. I think you're just at the tip of the iceberg here.
Yeah, and when I say I'm involved in every transaction, I don't, I'm trying to get away from that, but I'm just saying is I'm always available to my guys. I'm not
right.
I have an open door, an open phone policy. They call me. In fact, they call me too much. But if they have run into a problem, or they're sensing something about the homeowner, or something's not right, or whatever, they got the direct line to me. I am a good plumber, and I can help them solve that problem. And that makes a big difference, because they're not allowed to just tell the folks, well, I can't figure it out, and leave. And it makes a big difference for us.
Right. So what other types of marketing are you guys doing?
We tried radio for a little while, and I went on Fiverr.com, and I told the girl that how I wanted the jingle to go, and I think I paid $35 for it. It's a good jingle, and we tried radio for a little while, and I did not. I'm a cheapskate. Basically my background is with me falling hard in 2009, I value every dollar that I have, and I'm not willing to waste money on marketing. And the moment, when I'm spending $1,000 and I'm getting like one bad call out of it, I don't care how long they say it takes to work. I'm not willing. I could do better getting some college kids and paying that $1,000 and having canvas the neighborhood handing out business cards. So that's kind of how I'm viewing radio right now. And maybe I'll go back into it one day, but for me, I just don't have money to lose. Yeah. So we tried radio for a little while, and despite what the sales lady had told me, I got out of it, and I still have my radio ads. They were really good. Everybody said they loved them, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm not in a position just for branding. I want the phone to ring. So I would rather take my marketing dollars and put it towards something that the phone would ring.
Okay.
Of course, we do internet. So, being that I had to start this business back up on a shoestring with no capital behind me, I was listening to your podcast, and I bought Josh Nelson's book. And I know. So I bought Josh's book, and I did everything that he told me to do in that book that I could do. So I would work real hard. I'd work, 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. I'd get home, take a shower. I'd sit down with my laptop, and I would build my drag and drop website. I would try to reverse engineer other people's websites, did everything you tell me to do in the book. And lo and behold, in a couple months, I had first page ranking.
Nice. And
it's not that I don't believe I should hire somebody else to do those things, but I just didn't have the money. Mm-hmm. A plumbing business will suck every bit of cash out of your pocket that you can imagine. It's a very cash intensive business. So anything that I could do myself, I would. So I read your book, and it did wonders for me. So I still have first page ranking for most of the keywords that I want, but I'm going to be honest with you. Unless you're willing to stay up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you need to hire that out. It was desperate times, call for desperate measures, and I knew that was the way the world was going. So I put in the hard work, and it changes all the time. I don't even know whether or not I have first page ranking on some of those keywords because the algorithm changes so much, but I don't have time anymore to do those things. I did back when I was one truck, but now I'm running a $1 million plus business. So I couldn't do that again if I wanted to.
But that's awesome that you were able to take the information, execute and implement and get the result, and it's still paying dividends for you. So that's phenomenal.
Yeah. And like I said, I had to do it, and I was willing to put in the hard work and do the hustle. And you had it out there, and I bought that book, and it did wonders for me. I'm pretty tech savvy though. Like I said, it was a lot of tedious work, and I'm not a good writer. And, I am artistic, but I'm not a good writer, but it really paid off. Let's see some other things that we do. We do a lot of Facebook ads. Okay. I took a page from your book. We try to do a little bit of content marketing, which is really counterintuitive to the older people I tell about that. So when we tell somebody how to fix their garbage disposal, it blows my grandfather's mind. He doesn't understand why I would tell somebody how to fix a garbage disposal, but the information's out there. It's out there for anybody that wants it. So they might as well get it from me. Start to trust me, because when they might fix their garbage disposal, but they're not going to try to fix a slab leak, and they're not going to try to replace their sewer main. So right. I'm the guy that they have at the top of their mind as somebody that's willing to give them free advice. And it's like I said, the information's out there. So if you're not doing some form of content marketing, you're a fool, because you need to position yourself as the expert in your area. And that usually is going to take giving away some information.
So did you do that in the form of videos? Did you do that in the form of how-tos? What kind of content?
Yeah, we just do that. We do that in videos. So we'll do it. I have my 16-year-old son edit the videos on Adobe Premiere. Nice. And they're not very good. But you don't necessarily need to wait until you can have everything perfect. Sometimes you just need to come out of the garage with your half-done car so you can get somewhere. Instead of wait until wait until you can have it professionally polished. So I'm not scared to bring those things out there, and we'll run those Facebook ads sometimes, and people, we'll get a ton of views. We don't get necessarily any direct calls from it, but it's a branding move, and Facebook ads right now are extremely undervalued.
Yeah.
And they're going to be a lot more expensive down the line. So again, why waste your money on radio if you could spend $20 and reach 20,000 people with a Facebook ad? You need to do that instead.
Sure.
That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when it comes to internet, it sounds like you do a lot of it on your own with the SEO side, getting the website set up. Or do you play in any of those paid online directories? Do pay-per-click? Talk to me a little bit about the internet marketing.
Yeah, pay-per-click. I haven't figured out pay-per-click yet. I'll blow through $900 on pay-per-click. It'll drive me insane. We'll get one bad call out of it, and I just can't do it. So I'm going to need to farm that out. Right now we're busier than we can stand. I don't really have a need to do that. I know we're going to need to do it down the line. I may do the Google Home Services. I don't know. Some industry professionals are saying that we need to boycott that so that it doesn't have any strength, but I'll make that decision on my own. But I try pay-per-click. Like I said, I can't let that money go. I have a friend of mine spends $9,000-$10,000 a month on it, and I don't know how he does it. And for me, a lot of times it's, I don't think it's always good to attract a person that's just flipping through the phone book or just trying to find the first person to answer the phone. It doesn't always attract the most ideal customer. While a lot of companies are centered around emergency work, we're not necessarily. We handle emergencies, but we're not always trying to get that emergency because we can't always get there right away. We're going to take care of the people if we already promised somebody we're going to be there between 1 and 3, we're going to be there between 1 and 3. And if there's an emergency down the road and we can't get there, we're going to be honest with them and tell them we can't get there for a couple hours because we've already made promises to some other people. And that may hurt my profit in the long run. I don't know.
So for the most part, for you, as it relates to internet, it's organic, right? You're talking about organic SEO
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, it's organic. Like I said, I haven't been able to figure out the pay-per-click. I'm going to hire that out one day when the time comes if I need to work. And so we haven't done that. We're on HomeAdvisor.
Okay.
I don't recommend HomeAdvisor for anything except for super large projects. So we've had success with shower replacements.
Okay.
I've had no success with anything having to do with a running toilet or a drip or a clog or faucet that's too competitive a market. And as far as I'm concerned, if you have somebody that is going to HomeAdvisor to fix a drip on their faucet, when instead of just Googling a plumber who can fix a faucet, that to me tells me something about that person. They're just shopping around for the cheapest price. We're not the cheapest provider. But with the larger projects, we've had a lot of success with shower replacements. Not everybody in our area wants to do a shower replacement. We find it to be profitable work. We have guys that are good at it. It's a large ticket item, and basically the way I feel is maybe we're not competing with a whole lot of people on there. So that's been something where we can get our return on investment. So if we get a $5,000 job from HomeAdvisor, that can pretty much pay for the service for the whole year. So
right.
Again, like I said, it's good. It's good for, it's not good for every job. So just figure out what you want to do. I think it would be good for sewer line replacements in other markets, because those are large ticket items, very profitable work, but we don't have that advantage here because our utility company will replace your sewer line for like $1 a month.
Wow.
So that's a profit center in Myrtle Beach that's just not necessarily available to us as it is in other markets.
So that's a pretty good tip. If you're going to play the HomeAdvisor or the pay-per-lead game, you don't have to buy all the leads. Like, choose the category either that you like best or you're best set up to fulfill, or that just have the highest transaction value, and focus your pay-per-lead on those types of services, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, we participated in Thumbtack a little, and again, it was a lot of, our time's valuable. You only have 8 to 10 hours in a day to get everything done that you need to. So if you're chasing people around for a low transaction or a low dollar transaction, it's tough. I'm going to let somebody else play that game. I think it'd be great for people starting out. We did eLocal for a while. There's something about eLocal. eLocal shows up in the search results. And for me, what I'm figuring out, it must be that when people Google affordable plumber or cheap plumber, that's what shows up, because that was all the calls that I got. I mean, it was just tire kickers and people that would argue with me about, when I quote them a price, I'm willing to quote somebody a range of price for a service, just because I don't want to waste their time and I don't want them wasting mine. And I do know the answer to that question, and I do answer the phones in my business. I have found that eLocal wasn't a good investment for us. At the cost per lead, it wasn't worth it for us.
Okay. Excellent. I think that probably pretty much covers the internet marketing tactics that you employ. Is there anything else you want to make sure we talk about?
Yeah, a friend of mine in Charleston, South Carolina, showed me a ninja move. He's buying the community groups, the buy and sell on Facebook. So you got we're in Horry County. There's might be Horry County buy and sell on Facebook where everybody sells their stuff. There might be 40,000 members. He's buying those groups, and I didn't buy any. He's buying those groups, and he's marketing to those groups every now and then as the owner of that site. And he's getting, he'll put a video out and he'll get, 10,000 views from everybody that saw it. And,
wow.
He didn't necessarily have to pay for that. He has the one-time payment when he bought that.
He just bought out that group that already had all the people.
He bought the admin rights to the group, and he puts his brand on it. And I'm doing the same thing, but I started my own group. So, the group I started may have 800 members now, but it's okay. You'll find people's interest. So that's a ninja move I plan on. You can't bombard those people. They're going to realize it's but anything you can do to help. That's one thing. We get a lot of work from, in terms of marketing, we get a lot of work from church. Bible studies, things I attend. When people see you every day, see you every Sunday, that I have a, we track all our marketing, and I'll look and, $50,000 or $60,000 worth of work came from church referrals. I don't do BNI. I don't have time to. Usually those meetings are at 7:30 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning when my phone's ringing the most. And I don't have time to listen to somebody give me a seminar on their juice that they're selling. And so I find, I already go to church, and that's not why I go to church, but that, we get a lot of referrals from there because they know that we're a family, and I'm genuine, and I'm not out to rob anybody, and I just want to do a good job.
Yep. They already have that like trust factor with you.
Yeah. We've done some direct mail. Again, my cheapskate side goes in there. I know you're supposed to do 3 mailings to the same place over and over, but, I'll send those out and I'll spend some money, and the amount of time and everything that it takes, I don't really get the return on the investment that I like to see. And it's discouraging. So I'd rather put my time and energy into something else for now.
Okay.
So that's that.
Good stuff. I mean, you've got a great marketing mix. It sounds like you're really clear on the things that work for you and things that you might explore in the future. Anything else you want to cover on this topic of the media that you use?
No, I think I pretty much covered it. I'm sure I missed something else, but like I said, I'm not willing to lose money. I don't have it to lose, and I'm not going there. So,
yep.
I try to do things that are effective.
So then, of all of those things, which ones seem to drive the most lead for you, or that you feel are just the most effective?
Oh, internet.
Okay.
Internet by far brings in the most, and I think most of it's from our Google Maps. With the 79 Google reviews there.
Yeah.
I think that helps. I think it helps our ranking, but I think we have a decent website. And again, like I said, I concentrate on that risk reversal, and all of our messaging is about trust and, people getting to know me. I have a video of myself giving some free advice and things, so they get to see things. And, I would advise anybody out there with the website, with the stock models on there, the guy in a blue jumpsuit holding the pipe wrench backwards, get rid of that stuff. Get your guys on your website, get a picture of yourself on there, let people know they're relating with a real person. And so we by far get the most calls from the internet, and I have your book to thank for that and all this, but like I said, I mean, you can be ranked first page, but if your website's crap and it doesn't have a message for the people, it's not going to do any good. If your phone number's down the bottom in number 8 font, it's no good. You need to have it big and where people can see it and know to call it right away.
Yep. And I'll link to Christian's website on here. That way you guys can look at it. And the one thing I'll say is it's very authentic. Like he said, you can tell Christian's the owner of the company, and you can meet the people that work for the company, and it's just real. And that's the biggest thing that's going to make your website resonate with your customers, to be authentic as opposed to be, like he said, that stock model. So kudos. I'm glad to hear the internet is driving a lion's share of your lead flow.
Yeah, we do get calls from the Yellow Pages, Josh. We do want to let you guys know that the Yellow Pages is not dead. I'd say we get at least 1 call a day from it.
Nice.
We have a 2-page ad. We pay, I think, $700 a month from it.
Okay.
It has senior discount written straight across the top in big red letters. It has a picture of myself there. It has a promise, a handwritten promise from me that we're going to do a good job, and you have nothing to lose doing business with us. We talk about our awards, our Angie's List Super Service Awards. The seniors really seem to resonate with the awards. We have coupons in there. We have just whatever we can do in that ad to make them choose us over the other options that are in that phone book. We do it.
Nice.
Like I said, it has a picture of me. I may be one of the only guys in there with a picture of the owner, and it says this is the owner. And
nice.
There's a personality attached to the brand.
Yeah, and I find that's often the case, right? I mean, people think Yellow Pages. I don't look at Yellow Pages. They think it's completely dead, but in certain markets, people still have the Yellow Pages. They still reference it. So as long as you're tracking and I'm spending X and I'm getting this in return, keep the advertising active as long as it's working for you. So that's a great point.
Yeah, and it's our market, and it works for us. And like I said, it generates that phone call, and it generates the person that's chose us because of our message. And like I said, that's what I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't want people just going through all the phone numbers. Whoever answers the phone is the one that they pick. Like, I like the people that have done their research on us and make an informed decision about us. I think they're a lot easier to close with, when it comes to selling our services, and, they trust us already.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great point. So are there any training organizations that have helped you along your way? There's so many great groups and training organizations in this industry. Are there any that have resonated with you or have helped you?
Yeah, Service Roundtable is best $50 a month that anybody can spend. They got all the marketing material on there that's kind of prefab for you to use. There's an idea exchange on there that I'm pretty active on. A lot of great advice that's on there. And then they let you know about industry events that are coming up, trade shows and Service World Expo. So that to me is a no-brainer. We were part of Plumber Success International at one time. And, I learned a lot from there. I was unable to see the ongoing value of being part of that. I did see the initial value of it, but I'm just somebody that consumes information. I devour it all. And, if you don't necessarily have anything, if I get the punchline, I'm ready to move on. It's basically it. They have a lot to offer. I'm not part of it anymore. I may join back up in the future. We'll see. But for now, I'm not part of that. And I think with the amount of information, especially with things like podcasts that you do, Josh, and the amount of information that's out there for us, a guy that's tech savvy like myself, I'm able to find a lot of that information that's taught in those groups.
Okay.
But the most beneficial, I'm part of a lot of forums on Facebook with owners. Those are very beneficial. I'm learning about some new services that plumbers offer. I'm wanting to get into just by being part of those roundtable discussions.
Yeah. And
but the most beneficial affiliation that I've had is talking to other business owners. That first phone call to Kelly Russum was a game changer for me. I visited a shop in upstate South Carolina of a very polished company. It's been around for 35 years. I mean, they do everything right. I was able to go there, ride with one of their techs for the day, talk to the owner, and it was all because I wasn't afraid to ask. I was able to visit Mark Larkin in Las Vegas,
Nice.
Listen to his podcast. He said anybody wants to reach out to me, they can. I reached out to him. He sat with me for a couple hours. I learned how he did business and his business philosophies. And, learning from all these guys, you kind of can figure out where you want to be, where they're at, and how you can make your own company and meet in the middle somewhere where you're a little bit of them, but you have your own business philosophies too. And that's been great. I
think that's awesome, and something that a lot of the listeners can learn from is just take the risk, right? There's a fear of reaching out to somebody that was on a podcast, somebody that published, information. But if they're offering their help, Christian's probably one of the few people that took the initiative and reached out and said, hey, you know what, I heard you on this, or I saw you wrote something about that. I was wondering if I could pick your brain. And you'd probably be surprised how willing people are to share.
Yeah, their wife is tired of hearing them talk about the plumbing business. So when some dummy comes up to them saying, I want to know everything that you know about the plumbing business and how much of a genius you are, they're likely to tell you because you're willing to listen, and why not ask them? And I've just found that people are very free with their information. If you're not a direct competitor of theirs, they don't want to see somebody else have them make the mistakes that they've made. That's what I found.
Awesome. So are there any other, nuggets of wisdom you'd like to share? Or, what would you say to that plumbing or HVAC business owner that's maybe just trying to get to the next level and not quite there? What would you say to that individual?
Yeah, I say, if you're a one-man shop I can tell you how to get to where I'm at. As to getting to the next level from here, I'm going to learn that. And hopefully I'm going to learn it from people that know what they're doing. But I would say, fake it till you make it. You need to start looking like a big company. you need to do the things. If you need to get a professional voicemail, go to Fiverr.com, get a professional voiceover for your voicemail. Start looking like you're a big business. Start acting like it. Get the invoices with your brand and logo on there. Make those investments towards looking like a big company. So you'll start feeling like one. You may be able to start charging like one. That would be my advice for doing that. You know, and come out of obscurity. There's a reason why companies that rely only on referral and word of mouth grow to a certain point. There's only so much business that's going to get you. So it'll get you to a certain level, but it won't get you to the next level. So, you know, you need to start marketing. I would highly recommend getting your presence on the internet, getting it right, and have that message out there, and focus on the risk reversal. Make people know that it's safe to do business with you. And then not only that, make those promises, but actually be safe to do business with. Don't just promise it. Actually do it, and stand by your word. I would say invest in your men. Like, you know, one of the messages that we had on the radio was our difference is our people. You know, you need to hire, you know, people want to know, how do you know when to get a next truck? For me, I get a truck when a guy walks through the door that it's worth hiring. I'll find him something to do. I'll start running pay-per-click at that point. So when I have the right guy, he's got the right resume, he's got the right attitude, he's got the right look, and he meets all that criteria, I'll go out and buy a van for him. And that's how I've grown my business. So it hasn't been that I bought a van and just desperately look for another guy. I'll find the business to meet, you know, once you get the right individual come through your door. So invest in your people, train them, you know, talk to them, treat them like human beings. I treat my men as though it's a volunteer staff. I do not feel like that they need me and I don't need them. You know, this is a volunteer relationship, and I want them to work for me and come to work for me because they want to. I never ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. I am a plumber. They get to see me down in the trenches, and I don't ask them to do things that are unsafe. And you know, I just treat them. And you know, another thing is you know, these guys are not all about money. The money they're hoping is going to buy them some life. And you know, so that money, it's not that they're all about the dollars. They're looking to have a good life with that money. They're hoping that one day that'll buy them a good life. And you know, you need to figure out, you know, you can only pay them what you can pay them. So you got to figure out how to give them some life and help them out with their life and their quality of life and their family time and weekends off and you know, different things like that. I think that's important because you know, turnover is a big problem in our industry. But if you start treating these guys like they're real human beings and they're not, you know, they're not a number, it'll make a difference in your business. And your customers will see it, and it'll reflect in the reviews, it'll reflect in the attitudes, and it'll reflect in your reputation.
Great stuff. Great stuff. You know, Christian, thank you so much for sharing today. I think, you know, you shared so many great ideas and strategies and some of the philosophy that's made you the success that you are. And I can tell you're just getting started. You're going to go to a much higher level. So awesome, man. Well, thanks for sharing. Great episode. If somebody needed to reach out to you, would you be willing to take a call or two?
Yeah, actually, text message me at 843-222-0368. And that way, you know, I can make sure that I actually have time to talk to you. I'll call you when I have some free time, and that way I can give you the time and attention you deserve. But I'll be willing to help anybody with what they're. I don't know everything, and a lot of things that I do are not industry standard and make some guys cringe. But you know, I do what works for me in my market, and it's working so far, and we're making money, so that matters.
Awesome. Well, that's a generous offer. He gave you his cell phone number. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Be sure to tune in at plumbingmarketing.net for future episodes. And go out, grow your plumbing HVAC business, accomplish your goals, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks again, Christian.
Thank you.